What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder, where we talk all things Marvel and MCU. I'm your host, Warren Thompson, and just like we talked about in our last video, when tickets went on sale for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, today they released the official trailer for the movie as well. And wow, does this movie look like it is going to be truly epic. Now, of course, first things first, if you are looking to get your Black Panther Wakanda Forever tickets, they are on sale now. So if you are trying to secure a seat to watch that very first showing of Black Panther Wakanda Forever wherever you live, I would buy them now. Now, as far as the trailer is concerned, we have a lot to talk about, of course. This really dives into Namor a little bit more, and of course, we have found out who our new Black Panther is. And this trailer is really focused on the actual plot of Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and that is the war between Wakanda and Namor. Now, right away, something that they are changing about Namor is he is not from Atlantis. Well, he is in the MCU, however, they don't call it Atlantis. It's going to be called Talocan, and it's going to be taken from ancient Mayan and Aztec history from the real world. It is essentially Atlantis, and his people are essentially Atlanteans. They're just trying to add some realism and some culture to it from the real world. And for me, as somebody who has Mexican roots on my mother's side, I think that's pretty cool. Now, this trailer opens up pretty similarly to the teaser trailer that we've got before for Wakanda Forever with a funeral for T'Challa. In the trailer, we can see Queen Ramonda and Shuri carrying the helmet of Black Panther. However, this isn't a traditional funeral where everybody is wearing black. As you can see, everybody is wearing white, which is probably an indication that it's more of a celebration than it is a funeral. Of course, they all are mourning the loss of T'Challa, the Black Panther, their king, but they're also celebrating his life and what it meant to them, and how great of a person he was. And of course, this is honoring Chadwick Boseman as well. Now, the first words that we hear in the trailer are actually from Namor, and he says, "Only the most broken people can be great leaders." Now, as he says this, we see shots of Namor himself and of Shuri, and Shuri is looking at a painting of her brother, the Black Panther. This heavily implies that Shuri knows that there's no Black Panther and that it's probably going to fall upon herself to become the new Black Panther. Now, keep in mind that Namor says can be great leaders. He doesn't specifically say king. So although it's pretty much confirmed in this trailer that Shuri will become the next Black Panther, that doesn't necessarily mean that she will become the next king or queen of Wakanda. More on that in just a bit. Now, as Namor talks about only the most broken people can be great leaders, while he may be speaking about Shuri, or maybe he was even speaking about T'Challa, of course he was talking about himself as well. Now, it doesn't show it in this trailer, but in the teaser trailer, we do see a young Namor on land, and he's looking at a house that is on fire. Now, if Marvel is going to somewhat stick to his origin in the comics, Namor will be part human, part mutant, and part Atlantean. Now, in the comics, his mother was the princess of Atlantis, the daughter of Emperor T'Challa, and his father was a sea captain. So I want to say that his father dies in the movie when he's young. Now, this isn't confirmed, but I know there's going to be somewhat of a tension between Wakanda and Atlantis, obviously, and I want to say that the Atlanteans, or Talocan, told Namor that it was actually the Wakandans that killed his father. When I think in the reality of this film, it might have actually been the king of Talocan that did this to his father. The king probably was upset that his daughter had a baby with a human from the surface and might have ordered him killed eventually at some point in time and blamed it on the Wakandans, and that could have started the hate in Namor's heart for the Wakandans. Now, Namor is the king. We see this as he descends in the water onto his throne. He puts a spear into the ground, and it cuts to a scene where Okoye puts her spear to the ground as well, and we see an empty throne room. Of course, another reflection that Wakanda's king is dead. There is no Black Panther right now. But the next scene is where the war actually begins. We see a large ship on the water, and there are actually two scenes here that look like the same scene but aren't, so I don't want you to get them confused. There's one scene where we see the people of Talocan, Namor's people, climbing aboard a ship. There's also another scene where we see soldiers taking over a ship and sort of holding the people on the ship hostage. These are two different scenes, and they are not the same ship. So let's start with the first scene of Namor's people crawling on this ship. In this scene, we actually see some people in scuba gear in the water, and this is sort of where it all begins. These people are going to be searching for vibranium. In an article that came out by Entertainment Weekly, we learned that Namor is really upset with what T'Challa and Wakanda did by opening up the world to know that Wakanda has vibranium. This obviously is going to lead to people searching for vibranium. This is what these people are doing on the ship and what they're doing in the water. They are searching the seas off the coast of Africa to find vibranium, this precious metal. And in doing so, they are actually invading the territory of Namor and his people. So this first scene is Namor and his people invading the ship that is invading their waters, their territory. And these people are searching for vibranium. However, the other scene where we see soldiers on a ship holding people hostage is very different because this is a Wakandan ship. We see the Wakandan markings and technology on the walls. And these soldiers that we see here are most likely mercenaries, guns for hire, most likely hired by somebody who is searching for vibranium. Could be another government, it could be somebody like Dr. Doom. Either way, whoever's behind this wants vibranium, but little did they know that the Dora Milaje were actually undercover on this ship. Now, this is where the war kind of begins, or at least picks up, because we might be safe to assume that Wakanda and Talocan have had their beef with each other for some time now, just like in the comics. But these people searching for vibranium in his oceans is kind of where it picks up again. This is where the tension really starts to rise. And this is where we see Queen Ramonda and the Dora Milaje actually visit M'Baku, where we hear M'Baku telling them his people do not call him general or king. They call him Kukul Khan, the feather serpent god. Now, as he says this, we actually see a shot of Namor being born in the water. We can see the feathers on his feet, and then they show a shot of him grown up, feathers on his feet, flying in the air with Wakanda in the background. Then we hear M'Baku say killing him will risk eternal war. So this tells us that not only is Namor the king of Atlantis / Talocan, but he is worshipped as their god, not just their king, but their god. Now, Kukulkan is actually an ancient Mexican pantheon, a deity, one of the major deities, so this is coming straight from ancient Mexican history here, which I love. Now, M'Baku says killing him will risk eternal war because if they kill the god of Talocan, of course Talocan will forever try to kill everybody in Wakanda, to seek revenge on them for killing their god. Which puts them in quite the dilemma because clearly Namor is attacking Wakanda. We hear Shuri say he's coming for the surface world. And in this scene, we see Queen Ramonda, and we actually see Riri Williams in the background in the throne room. They're looking out the window, and if you notice in the reflection of the window is Namor flying right in front of it, and it looks like he's about to take his spear and shove it right through the window, breaking the glass, breaking into the throne room, maybe even attacking Queen Ramonda. Now, from here in the trailer, we actually see Namor on land talking to Queen Ramonda. And I'm assuming that this is one of two things happening. One, it's Namor coming to the surface to kind of say sorry to Queen Ramonda for the death of T'Challa, their king and her son. Or two, he is coming on surface to warn her and express that he is extremely upset that Wakanda has let the world know about vibranium and now people are invading his seas. And most likely telling her that he wants her to shut off Wakanda and vibranium to the world to where nobody can even get close. Which obviously I don't think she was going to do. This was the wish of her son and the former king of Wakanda, T'Challa, so I don't think she's going to go back on what he did when he was alive. And that is also where the conflict is going to escalate as well. Namor issues a warning, but Ramonda says no. Now from here we get a bunch of shots of what is going to be the war between Talocan and Wakanda. And from here we get some really cool scenes. One, we get our first look at Riri Williams' Ironheart in action. We see her very first Ironheart suit in a couple of scenes. We see her flying over a car and a motorcycle. We see her tinkering with some gear to make her suit, and then we see her suit launch into the sky. And we even get a HUD view of her saying, "Let's go." And this is very similar to the views that we saw of Iron Man when he would be in the suit. Now we see Wakanda being flooded. Of course, this is the doing of Namor. He has attacked Wakanda. The war has begun, and in the background you may notice the chanting of Wakanda Forever. We get an amazing scene of Namor striding through the air, just flying through the air, on his way to attack Wakanda. And I must say, I really like how they did this. He flies, but he kind of runs as he flies, and it looks really, really cool. But they've also showed us that he can, in fact, hover in the air. He can use his wings to kind of glide, to kind of stay in place. He doesn't have to be in full motion running to fly. But when he does, and he wants to move fast, he kind of runs through the sky, and it looks pretty dang cool. Now, of course, to top it all off, Queen Ramonda says, "Now is our time to strike." And then she says, "Show them who we are." And as she says this, we see Shuri in a flooded throne room that is on fire, but then we see Shuri emerge as the new Black Panther. Now, we pretty much knew that Shuri was going to be the new Black Panther. This does happen in the comics, and of course, since it was her brother who was the Black Panther before, it only makes sense for her to take up the mantle after him. We see her fall from the sky and hit the ground, and we can actually see the suit absorb the energy. And this is actually technology that Shuri herself designed. Now, when she hits the ground and we see the suit, it is very clear that this is Shuri. The figure of this new Black Panther matches Shuri's figure perfectly, leaving no room to doubt who the new Black Panther is. However, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this does not mean that Shuri is the new queen. Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, recently told us that the reason they did not recast T'Challa was because it was too soon. Meaning one day it won't be too soon and they could recast T'Challa and or a new Black Panther. Now, there have been some rumors going around for a while that Shuri would indeed be the new Black Panther, however she would not be the new king. And there have been some conflicting reports about this, but some people say that M'Baku could be the next king. However, he won't be the new Black Panther. That's what Shuri will be. So I think they're going to leave the future pretty open at the end of this movie. Open for another Black Panther to come in because clearly Shuri is going to be a Black Panther in this film. But overall, this movie looks pretty dang amazing and I'm really excited for this one. Of course, it's the next Marvel movie that we're going to be getting that's hitting theaters November 11th. Like the trailer said, tickets are on sale now, so be sure to grab them. And of course, let me know what you think about this new Black Panther Wakanda Forever official trailer. Don't forget to give the video a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Marvel news. For live updates, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.